Today I'm going to try and make 5 Korean viral ramen recipes that I found online that I thought were extra unique. And then I'm going to try them, rate them out of 10 based off of 3 categories: taste, effort, and creativity. So first up, I'm going to be making this toasted, uncooked ramen recipe that went viral because it might be like the perfect beer snack. Normally it would only be these 2 ingredients, which is a shin ramen, but any ramen works, and then mayonnaise. But I thought, just to make it a little bit more fun, I bought some grana padano cheese. I was looking for Parmesan, but this is the best I could find because I think this will make it a little bit more tasty. So first, take your ramen out of the pack along with the soup powder. Evenly spread the mayonnaise on top of the ramen noodles, and then take the soup powder and sprinkle that on top of the mayonnaise as well. I added cheese, but you don't have to do this, but you can also add any topping you want. And then I'll put that in a toaster oven at about 150 degrees Celsius for about 5 minutes, but making sure to keep an eye on it just in case it may burn. Once it's done toasting, take it out, cut it up or break it up, and serve it. So this turned out a lot better than I expected, and it was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. It smells really good, like the smell of like an enchilada or like a Mexican food almost, but let's give it a taste. Because of that soup powder we sprinkled on top of the mayonnaise, it kind of like turned out like a chipotle mayo. You can definitely tell why this went so viral as like a beer snack, because it is like crunchy, and from the soup it's like a little bit salty, and then the mayonnaise is like really creamy as well, so it does kind of balance that saltiness as well. But I really think adding that cheese was a good touch too. I got a bit more cheese left over, so we can do this. So for taste, because it's just raw ramen with mayonnaise and then the soup powder on top, is basically kind of exactly how you'd expect. I added a bit of cheese, a bit more fun, but that's getting a 7. For effort, I'm gonna give this an 8 because that was incredibly easy. That probably took maybe not even 2 minutes to put together. It's not quite just opening a packet. You still have to spread some stuff on, sprinkle some stuff, and then throw it in the oven. Creativity though, I'm gonna give this a 10 because I would have never have thought to do this with ramen noodles. So for this next dish, we're gonna be taking shin ramen and serving it cold, just like Korean naengmyeon. Add 5 tablespoons of water to a bowl and then add the soup powder. Then add 1 cup of cold water, followed by 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of sugar or syrup, and 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Then mix again. Finally chop a small chili and add it to this cold soup, and then cook the noodles and bean sprouts with the dry veg pack, and then drain and rinse in cold water. Then we'll place the noodles into a bowl with some cucumber cut into sticks, thinly sliced onion, and the cold soup and some ice cubes. So we've got our finished cold ramen noodles with extra chili, some onion, and some cucumber, and I gotta say this actually looks way better than I expected. My head automatically goes to like hot ramen to blow on it, but it's cold, so I'm gonna like get it out of my head. I might prefer this over classic cold Korean noodles. It's super fresh, not actually that spicy considering I added a whole spicy chili. You would think like the vinegar and the soy sauce and the sugar would be kind of like very powerful, but it's actually not that powerful. So for taste, I'm gonna give this an 8 because it's still delicious. It still tastes like ramen, but it goes so well cold and it's so refreshing. For effort, I'm gonna give this a 5 because it still did involve a lot of cutting and a lot of cooking. For creativity, I'm gonna give this a 4 because it is basically just ramen, but cold. This next recipe combines this cup ramen, which is a kimchi cup ramen, with buchim garu, which is Korean pancake powder, to create a Korean crispy kimchi ramen pancake. First, open up your cup ramen, take the noodles out and break it up. Then add the noodles back in, and then add the soup powder as well. And then I'll add hot boiling water until it reaches halfway up to the line, half the recommended amount. Let the noodles go soft in the boiling water. Add a tablespoon of Korean pancake mix and an egg. Mix that again until everything is combined. Heat up a frying pan with some oil and then add the ramen pancake batter. Try to spread out the noodles as much as you can and fry it on each side for about 3 minutes. Once it's done cooking, transfer it to a plate and serve it up. So it didn't really turn out exactly how it looked like in the video. I followed the recipe pretty closely, but of course making pancakes isn't the easiest thing to do, but we'll give it a try. Right now this kind of just tastes like lightly seasoned ramen noodle pancake, which I guess is what it basically is, but I would have liked a little bit more flavor. It didn't quite work out very well, so probably need to fix the recipe a little bit. So either less water or an extra tablespoon of the buchim pancake powder. For effort, this is getting like a 2. It's the putting it in a pan and frying it that's the annoying and tricky and difficult part. For taste, I'm gonna give this a 4 because you don't really get any kimchi taste. It just basically tastes like fried noodle pancake with a bit of seasoning. But for creativity, I wanna give this like a 7 because I also am very impressed with the idea of turning cup noodles into pancake batter. So this time we're using a different ramen because this next recipe turns this ramen into a Korean classic Soondubu jjigae, which is a personal favorite of mine. So let's see if this stacks up. To a hot saucepan, add oil, then the thinly sliced meat, sliced green onions, some freshly ground black pepper, and gochugaru. Then mix and fry. Add 500 milliliters of water, and then the soup pack, the dried vegetables, and the noodles. And then boil until the noodles are almost done. If you're having fun watching this video, make sure you hit like, and then make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Near the end of cooking, add the Soondubu, and then crack an egg into the ramen before serving. So this came out a lot more than I expected, so it's probably just best to serve it in here, and I don't have a bowl big enough, so we'll just eat it from the pan. Other than maybe the grilled noodles, this probably smelled like the second best while cooking. I love silken tofu, which is why I love this dish too, usually. Is it tasty? Yes. Does it taste like Soondubu jjigae? Not really. So for taste, I'm gonna give this an 8 because the meat and the tofu, I'm personally a big fan of. For creativity, I'm gonna give this a 6 because it is still kind of just ramen with some extra steps. For effort, I'm gonna give this a 4 because it does involve some cutting up. It does involve meat, frying, basically ramen with a whole bunch of stuff to do beforehand. So this next one I'm making has become popular because of celebrity chef Yoon Nam-no, who appeared in the Korean Netflix show Culinary Class Wars, and this is his favorite way of making ramen. First, heat up a saucepan with cooking oil, and then add 1 tablespoon of gochugaru, the ramen soup base, the dry veggie mix, and then mix and fry. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 500 milliliters of water, some cut up napa cabbage, and the noodles. Boil the noodles until they're cooked, and then serve with half a tablespoon of minced raw garlic. So this looks more like something I would make at home. When it comes to like spicing up ramen, in the process of cooking this, it did spice up the whole room to the point that we were coughing quite a bit. Even though we didn't add much extra salt other than a tablespoon of soy sauce, it's got that smell that you just feel like it's gonna be salty, but let's give it a try. It's actually not that spicy. The cabbage comes out quite nice, but I'll be honest, it doesn't taste that much different from original Shin ramen. And again, to be honest, I'd probably just prefer original Shin ramen instead. So for effort, I'm gonna give this a 6 because it's basically ramen, but with a few extra steps. For creativity, I'm gonna score this about a 4 because again, it's just kind of like ramen with a few extra steps. For taste though, I'm gonna give this a 7 because it's not too far off the original taste of ramen. Okay, so we've tried our 5 viral Korean ramen recipes, and I've got to say my favorite was by far the toasted ramen with the mayonnaise and the powder, and then my personal touch of the cheese. It was just so simple, so easy to make. It was addictive, crunchy, a little bit salty, and I can really imagine if I've got like a cold beer in one hand, some of that on the table to just go along with it will just be perfect. Chef's kiss. Now, I want to know what your favorites was, so leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe as well if you haven't already, and stick around till the next video.